And despite extra patrols, authorities have yet another crime scene there and another fatality to investigate. The latest deadly shooting happened last night just after 7:30 in an alley behind 47th and Caroline Streets. The young victim is a male whose name has yet to be released. IPD was already in the neighborhood, and that put more officers at the scene to investigate this shooting. But Police Chief Mike Spears knows a lot is out of their control.
Too many people do not have the skills and ability necessary to resolve conflict without whipping a gun out so you can be the first one to fire it.
Police have already found a car they initially described as a vehicle of interest. It was abandoned a few blocks away. Witnesses told investigators that it is the car they saw driving away from the shooting. It is 7:30, and it looks like now it will be tomorrow at the earliest before the UN Security Council adopts a Mideast resolution. The death toll from nearly a month of fighting is now more than 700. In hopes of beginning a ceasefire, Lebanon's cabinet unanimously approved sending 15,000 soldiers to South Lebanon as soon as Israeli troops withdraw. Closer to home, Center Grove schools call an incident that took place between football practices Thursday a case of bullying. Chopper 8 shows you players continue to practice while the Johnson County Sheriff's Department investigates the boy's claim he was pinned down in the locker room. The 15-year-old student also told an officer a boy tried to sexually assault him using a metal rod. The Indiana High School Athletic Association says it won't investigate, saying it's up to the schools to police themselves.
Back to work today for your Indianapolis Colts. Training camp continues this morning in Terre Haute as the team prepares for Thursday's preseason opener in St. Louis. Week 2 of camp kicked off Monday, still without 4 regulars. Defensive linemen Corey Simon and Monte Rager, as well as starting safeties Mike Doss, Bob Sanders, all nursing injuries that could keep them out a few days longer. And that means some of the younger guys might get a chance to shine against the Rams.
We have some defensive guys that aren't going to play, and that means some younger guys have to step up, but I'm kind of anxious to see them in those game conditions. Our offense is pretty much at full strength, and I feel like we've got a lot of stuff in and rolling pretty good.
Here's a look at today's training camp schedule. Practices begin this morning at 8:30, followed by a second session this afternoon at 3:30. You'll recall yesterday on Daybreak, former Wish TV host and professor Dave Smith talked about his love of Hoosiers and movies.
This morning, he just scrapes the surface with a few favorites.
A lot of people think it's not cool to be from Indiana, but here we have examples of 2 people who were extremely cool.
Ball State professor of film Dave Smith doesn't need to remind anyone that leading men like James Dean and Steve McQueen and leading ladies like Carol Lombard and Ann Baxter are Hoosiers. But his new opus is a reminder and a revelation about other Hoosiers gone Hollywood. One of Smith's favorites, silent film star Monty Blue.
He was there at the beginning, Birth of a Nation, Intolerance, and then when silence faded from the scene, he became an excellent supporting actor in sound films and then all the way into television.
Smith's book has a lot of trivia, but it's not trivial to Smith, like the Kokomo Cowboy.
William Everson, who is an expert on silent film, said that Tom Sanchi is the first recognizable villain in the history of motion pictures.
Smith shares a story about another favorite, Red Skelton, who once visited Wish TV when Smith did a movie show here.
And I was walking back to Master Control and went by this little room where the engineers all go in and have their lunch that they bring from home. And here was Red Skelton sitting on a couch in between these engineers, and they were all having lunch together out of the engineers' sacks, and he was just talking up a storm to them, and they were delighted.
In the course of his research about moving pictures, he found quite a few special still pictures as well.
This is a multi-talented young man. He was a child actor. He became an opera singer. He was a painter. He was one of the greatest dancers, a rival to Fred Astaire, and then became an actor. And his name is Clifton Webb.
And finally,
we had the first Tarzan, Elmo Lincoln from Rochester, Indiana, and then Jim Pierce from Franklin, Indiana. And then Denny Miller was the last of the Indiana Tarzans, and he has achieved fame lately as the Groton Fisherman.
Never say that Hoosiers in Hollywood weren't swingers. I'm Dick Wolfsey for 24 Hour News 8.
And Dave's book is available almost everywhere and online.
Dick says if you love movies, it's a must-buy.
We want to take you back to the scene of some breaking news at this hour. We're at Stop 13 in Madison Avenue.
Authorities there found a motorcycle and a helmet found near a retention pond. And the situation now, IFD dive team has been called in and they're going to search that water there. We understand also Franklin and Perry Township crews are also on the scene. As you can see around that retention pond, the dive team getting ready to go in there to